Hi guys, recently I made this Veggie Al Forno by Jamie Oliver, and even though it has similar ingredients to a ratatouille, which I don't really like, this was actually really delicious. Layers of fried aubergine and courgette with tomato sauce, cheese and fresh tomatoes, so good, and a real vegetarian showstopper. Making it is a bit of a process though, with a lot of steps, but don't worry, I'll walk you through it. Start off by dicing an onion, and the recipe asks for 2 cloves of garlic to be diced as well, but I always add extra. So place a saucepan or a large frying pan over a high heat and add a tablespoon of olive oil. Once it's hot, go in with your chopped onion and garlic. Give that a stir and then let it fry while you take 75 grams of green olives and pit them if they're not already pitted like mine are, and then break them up into halves before you add them to the pan. Let them all cook for about 5 minutes until they're softened before you add 2 tins of tomatoes. And a little splash of water that's been splashed around both cans. Give that a really good stir and then let it come to the boil before you turn down the heat and let it simmer on the lowest heat while you carry on with the rest of the dish. Now for the vegetables batter, you're going to need to crack open 5 eggs and whisk them all up with a pinch of salt until they're nice and combined but not aerated. Now take 3 courgettes, and a mixture of colour is good here, and slice them into 1 centimetre thick slices. Then the recipe says to do the same with 3 aubergines or 750 grams of them, but because I've got these weird coloured ones and they're strange shapes as well, I'm just going to weigh them out and use 750 grams. So go ahead and chop them up into 1 centimetre thick slices. Place a large frying pan over a high heat and fill it up to about 2 centimetres with vegetable oil. To fry the veg, take each slice of vegetable and dip it into a bowl with 100 grams of plain flour, and then into the egg, but shake off any excess egg before you drop it into the very hot oil, so be careful. You'll have to do this in batches, and a lot of batches actually, because there was a lot of vegetables here. Too much actually I found, because I had a lot left over in the end. So just fry over a high heat until they're golden brown on both sides. Then remove them and transfer them to a plate or a board lined with some kitchen paper. Now continue frying in batches until all the veg is fried, and keep an eye on the oil level as well, you might want to be topping it up as you go. Once that's all done, then take an 8-inch springform cake tin, but line the outside with tin foil to ensure that if it leaks it won't make a huge mess. Now fan a layer of courgette over the base of the cake tin and sprinkle over a good few fresh basil leaves. Now spoon over a few spoonfuls of the sauce that you've made earlier. Now give a good generous grating of parmesan. The recipe says you'll need 50 grams in total for the whole recipe. You'll need to do another layer later as well. But to be honest with you, I can't be bothered weighing it out. I'm just going to eyeball it and make sure that it's nice and cheesy. Now more cheese in the form of this mad looking thing. It's actually called a scamorza, and it's a smoked ball of mozzarella. And it's much firmer in texture, and you're going to need about 100 grams of it. This whole thing is 180 grams, so I'm just going to use the big part. Slice it up thinly before you fan a layer over the courgette as well. Now fan over a layer of aubergine, just like the courgette layer. Then take 4 good sized tomatoes, a variety of colour and shape would probably be best, and slice them up thinly. Spoon over more of the sauce onto the aubergine. Add another generous grating of parmesan over the top, then fan out a layer of fresh tomato slices. Now press down on it to compact it. A wide spatula is good for this. Add a drizzle of olive oil and a generous pinch of sea salt flakes. Now transfer to a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius and let it bake for 30 minutes. Then take it out and let it come to room temperature before you attempt to take it out of the cake tin. And hopefully when it is room temperature you can spring off the cake tin cleanly and nothing will stick. Now just garnish by sprinkling over a few fresh basil leaves over the top before you cut into it and serve up. This really was such a winning vegetarian recipe, and those are always good to have. I've got loads of friends who are vegetarian, and this is a really nice way of making something really nice for them. Thanks a million for watching guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons below. Click the bell to make sure that you get notified every time I do upload a video. And you can check me out on social media if you like. You'll find all the links to my accounts in the description below, as well as the link to my blog where you'll find this full recipe at www.rookiecook.org.